All right, thousands of people in central Michigan are out of their homes because of historic flooding. Homes were left submerged after a pair of dams failed near the city of Midland, Michigan. Governor Gretchen Whitmer says it's being called a 500-year event. 10,000 people were ordered to evacuate.
Flood waters ripped apart roads after breaking through those dams, which are nearly 100 years old. Now, the river there crested at a record 35 feet and is not expected to recede under flood stage until Sunday. No. Anthony, you look at these pictures, and we're waiting to talk to the governor. We're dialing her up. But you look at these pictures, and you have to say this is the last thing they need at this particular time. You know, it's gone from stay-at-home orders to evacuation orders. As you said, 10,000 people have been asked to leave their homes, and it's just everywhere you look, it's a crisis in the state of Michigan right now when you're looking at these pictures.
Yeah, it was interesting in Janet Shamlian's report earlier in our broadcast. She was talking to a woman who lived there, and she said, how does it feel with this coming on the heels of the coronavirus? And she said, you know, we were just going through this, we were just learning to what we really appreciated in life because of what we've been through, and yes, now we're dealing with this, Gail.
Yes, I heard her say that, and it resonated with me, too. We're joined now by Michigan Governor, that's Gretchen Whitmer. She's in the governor's mansion in Lansing, and this is her first interview since this flooding disaster began. Governor, first, let's say it's good to see you. We're glad we got you up. But these pictures are heartbreaking. This is the last thing your state needs at this particular time. It's like a crisis within a crisis. I know you did an aerial tour. What's your assessment of the damage?
Well, that's right, Gail, and I think that it's really important to note on Tuesday, we were trying to evacuate 10,000 people and social distance. And as you can imagine, incredibly stressful circumstances. But as I surveyed the damage yesterday from the air, there's no question it was the right thing to do. And because the people of Midland took this so seriously, we haven't reported any casualties, and that's pretty amazing. But in looking at it, you can see houses that have water up to the roof line. You can see a lake that was drained out. There's no lake there anymore because it's all at the lower end of the river now. And so just trying to keep people safe. We've got shelters that are functioning. The water should start to recede now, but there's no question that this is a devastating event.
I'm glad to hear, Governor, that there was no loss of life. It's hard to believe when you look at the pictures. It's being reported that one of those dams was labeled a high hazard a couple of years ago. I realize that you were not governor at that time, but why do you think that that was not corrected, and what action are you planning to take now?
Well, there's no question that across our country we've not been investing in infrastructure. This was an old dam. This was a dam that we are currently in legal wranglings with the owner of it. And so the lack of investment has come to show that these fundamental infrastructure things are important. And that's why as I've run and as a governor, I've been trying to get my legislature to join me in making investments in everything from fixing the dam roads, which is what I ran on, to rebuilding our infrastructure, which includes dams across our state and bridges. We had a number of bridges that were wiped out yesterday because of the water as well. And so as a nation, this is something that is not unique to Michigan, but the pain right now certainly is, and that's why we're going to do everything we can to get responsible parties to be held accountable and to ensure that we're helping these homeowners and the people that have been displaced get back on their feet.
Well, you know the President Trump is heading to your state today. Are you hoping or planning to meet with him to discuss how the federal government can help you during this time?
We do not have plans to meet, but I did speak with him yesterday on the phone. I made the case that, we all have to be on the same page here. We got to stop demonizing one another and really focus on the fact that the common enemy is the virus, and now it's a natural disaster. This is what all of our focus should be on. I'm grateful for the fact that FEMA has been such a great partner, and that's what my message to him was. Let's try to focus on the true enemy, which is the virus and this natural disaster, and let's try to put everyone who has a platform on the same page of saying, let's do this and let's keep people safe in the process. That's always been my call, and that was what we talked about a little bit yesterday as well.
Well, the president made it very clear, Governor, that he's upset with your state. He said your Secretary of State had gone rogue, had mailed out absentee ballots. It turns out it's absentee ballot applications, and he threatened to withhold federal funding. He seems to have walked that back a little bit. But what is your response to that?
Well, you can only imagine how I feel about that. You know, we are in the midst of this global pandemic. We've lost 5,000 people in the state of Michigan. It's been devastating. We are at a point where we think it's safe to start re-engaging sectors of our economy, but then this flood hits and we've got to evacuate tens of thousands of people who are worried and scared on top of this global pandemic. And to have this kind of distraction is just ridiculous, to be honest. It's the threatening to take money away from a state that is hurting as bad as we are right now is just scary, and I think something that is unacceptable. And my hope is that today he will be in Michigan. He will see we are hardworking, good Americans. We need the support of our federal government as much as anybody else, if not more right now because of this added challenge. And that I'm hopeful that he comes away knowing that that's what's most important. No petty political stuff that he had going with the Secretary of State yesterday. We've got to be focused on doing the right thing right now on behalf of the people.
There certainly seems to be a lot of challenges in Michigan. You know, you yourself are getting pushback from many of your constituents who say, listen, we need to get back to work. They've been protesting. They've been very loud. They've been very angry. President Trump seems to be encouraging the state to reopen. What is your message to the protesters?
Well, yesterday, you know, I just juxtaposed the fact that I was standing in Midland, talking to the press, talking to the people. People were so grateful that, you know, we showed up. We've seen volunteers come out. I mean, what the community reaction has been, we're all in this together. Let's pull together and take care of one another. At the same time in Lansing, you had 7 people cutting hair and a couple of hundred show up to protest and with all their protest propaganda. The fact of the matter is the vast majority of people in Michigan, and this is true in every state I'm confident, understand how serious this moment is and are willing to do the right thing. We have made incredible sacrifice. We can't let that have been made in vain and just drop our guard and go back to life as normal. Life is going to be different for a while. Let's be smart, let's re-engage, and let's avoid a second wave because that would be more devastating than what we've been through.
Yep, it's going to be a new normal for all of us, Governor. We've got to go, but you know you're on the short list. It's been reported you're on the short list for Joe Biden's VP candidate. Are you interested in the position? I know you got a lot to do right now, but are you interested in the position?
I have my hands full in Michigan. It's an honor to be included among this incredible group of leaders that they're talking to, and I'm not going to say more than that.
All right, all right. Very diplomatic answer. We thank you, Governor Whitmer. We thank you for taking the time. We really appreciate it.